So your helmet cracked and you want to know if it's defective. My name's John Uustal and I'm an attorney who investigates helmets after they've been in crashes. I've been doing this a long time and we've settled many cases against helmet manufacturers because we found that indeed some of the helmets were defective and caused very serious and catastrophic injuries. You want to know if your helmet's defective because it cracked. The answer is, it depends. In order for you to figure out whether your helmet was defective, you need to know a little bit about what a helmet's supposed to do in a crash. And the bottom line is a helmet absorbs energy so that it doesn't get to your head. If the energy gets to your skull, it can crack it. If it gets to your brain, it can damage it. So in a crash, you can have a point-loaded impact like this, or you can have the helmet with your head in it hitting something like the road. But either way, the helmet must absorb those forces as much as possible so that they don't get to the head. Sometimes, when the helmet is working properly, the outer layer, which is the hardest layer, the middle layer, which is probably the most important, which is semi-rigid and absorbs but also deforms, and then the inner cushioning, the softest part, when those are all working together, sometimes the helmet is absorbing forces by cracking, and it's actually working properly because it's cracking. And so it's dissipating the forces before they get to your head, and it protects the integrity of the skull so it doesn't crack, and it protects the brain from getting hit with very powerful forces that can knock it around against the skull. On the other hand, sometimes when there is a poorly designed helmet that doesn't meet appropriate legal standards, regulations, or it's just poorly designed, and you know, there are many reasons why a helmet ends up being poorly designed. Sometimes it's because the manufacturer is just trying to save money, make more profits at the expense of people's health. Sometimes it's because they're going to try and make the helmet lighter so it'll sell better. But they end up with a helmet that doesn't dissipate the energy sufficiently. So it's transferred through the helmet directly to the skull. And it doesn't, the energy is not attenuated enough. And you end up then with a situation where the skull can fracture, the skull can shatter, and the brain itself can get damaged, which obviously can be catastrophic. So in your particular case, you really need to find someone who understands crashes, crash forces, and helmets to conduct a thorough investigation for you. I hope I've answered your question. We have handled cases all over the country. If you have any further questions, please feel free to call me. This is what I do.